everyone, you're listening to the Boob Tube Betties, and we thank you. I'm Bethany.
I'm Kristin.
And we're talking all things Feud, episode 2. If you don't already, please follow us on social media. Send us emails, questions, thoughts, etc. to boobtubebetties@gmail.com. And go to boobtubebetties.com and see the other stuff we've got going on. You and I, the Betties, are covering Big Little Lies, which we just did 5 minutes.
We better be, or that was a waste of time.
and for our listeners, we are cycling back and forth each week to decide which goes first, Big Little Lies and Feud. So depending upon the week, we will sound more or less drunk.
That's the quality of it.
More or less drunk.
That's true. Aneebs.
So you probably will guess later on, but we did this 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Oh, our fellow buddies are covering, Adam gave me a little post-it here, Walking Dead, Legion, Logan, the most recent movie that came out. Later this week, they're going to cover Kong. And in the past, we've done Black Mirror, OA, Westworld, American Horror Story. You and I did that. Preacher. Tons of stuff. So check out our content. There's something for everyone. And if there isn't something for you, let us know. And we'll probably cover it. We'd love to. Let us know. Any housekeeping?
Just one.
Do it.
I wanted to write in as a listener to Adam's Feud Tube Buddies, and I do have a suggestion for next season. Just kidding. He actually, I thought it was really interesting, and I did not know that Ryan Murphy refuses to do any Hollywood feuds from this point on, which I found really interesting. But next season,
so Ryan Murphy now has like these pillars for shows. He's got American Crime Story, which will encompass crime, and now he's got Feud, which will cover different feuds.
Yeah, and next season they've already decided it's going to be Princess Diana and Prince Charles.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. I'm very excited about that.
And you bring up a good point when we talk about segments. So during this show, we have Feud Tube Buddies, where Adam, our fellow Boob Tube Betty, and my husband will cover a celebrity feud. Mm-hmm. And then we also have a segment called...
I don't know him.
You don't know him?
I'm just kidding. I'm Mariah carrying it.
We also have a segment called, Oh My God, you know who that is, right? Where we will give you some information about a
person you're stuck on.
You know, when you see an actor and you're like, I know who that is. What have they been in?
I wish there was something on Google like IMDb. But since there isn't.
We got it. We're going to take care of that for you. No worries. Forget internet.
Because obviously people who listen to podcasts do not surf the internet.
I already brought this up in the previous podcast, but It's Twilight Zone. So you texted me after we watched Feud and Big Little Lies back to back.
Yes.
And you were like, holy cattiness. Mm-hmm. And I completely agree. And I want to talk about it more later about how, man, not a good look.
Exhausted by the pettiness.
Not a good look for women.
No.
This feud. No. And personally, I have a little issue with that. So we'll get into that. Okay, but let's dive into the show. What do we got here? Opening scene, Joan, they're on the set. The actress playing the neighbor,
Miss Bates,
walks up to Joan for an autograph, and
she's gorgeous.
Yeah, whoever that is, she's gorgeous. Joan's shooting her daggers and basically is despising the attention that this beautiful young blonde is getting.
Oh yeah,
for her youth and her looks, and she signs it and immediately tells Bob to can her.
I love it. I have to say in all co-stars, she's not your co-star. You're right, she's not, and she never will be.
Right.
That was so great.
So Bob doesn't give her the answer she wants, so she goes to
Betty to insert a mental time bomb.
And here's the thing, though, is I feel like Betty always knows what Joan's doing. I feel like
I think she knew then, but then it just kind of, I think kind of sat with her and she's like, but she might be right.
Right. Whereas I don't think Joan has the sort of self-awareness of that. So it's so much easier to get her goat. Mm. Betty, I think most of the time knows what Joan is
We see that later
doing.
in the episode.
Definitely. So And I love that she's like, Lucille, stop with the daily gifts.
I know. I just love that she keeps calling her Lucille.
I do too.
It's just such a underhanded, yet she accepts it, and she's like, I'm gonna call you for who you really are.
It's like if I called you Chrissy.
Please don't ever call me Chrissy.
So Joan appeals to Betty to get her on her side about recasting the neighbor, and she says, like, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. You have more scenes with her than I do. And she talks about how what Betty's doing is incredibly brave.
She just says the perfect lines. And then Betty does the thing that I will at least once do in my future.
Right, exactly. So Betty, I feel like, decides, how am I going to handle this? All right. And she's leaving the set and very dramatic, yells at Bob and tells him that he's casting with the wrong head.
And that she's going to leave because she's sick. You look fine. And then she explains that he makes her sick to her stomach. I would love to do that. I'm going home sick. You look fine. You are making me sick to my stomach.
Even the way she's playing it, though, and, like, she knows what she's doing. Bob knows what she's doing.
Everybody knows what she's doing.
Whereas sometimes Joan, it almost seems like she believes the garbage she's spewing a little bit.
Yes. I forgot my purse. She walks back because she knows she's gotten her way.
But Bob's pissed. And then we see that poor girl leaving with her box of belongings, crying, and Joan and Betty look like pigs and shit.
Yep, it's the first of many agreements on this episode. And I'm going to go ahead and jump real quick. Bob said it perfectly to his wife. They're not getting along. They're teaming up. Mm-hmm. And I loved that because that's such a good way to put it. Because I've seen people who fight do that.
Okay, so this is one of the only illustrations of how great women can be when they put their minds together. You don't like me, I don't like you, we're completely different people, but we have an interest together.
I honestly feel like that's more of the true history
of how they were.
How it was.
Yeah, and it makes them seem smart.
Like, I'm not your biggest fan, but I'm not going to fuck this up for myself.
A lot of this just makes them seem illogical and emotional, and the way that people talk about women on their periods.
Yes.
But I like to picture it like this, with them calculating, and they can see the bigger picture, and they know they are better off together.
Absolutely. Strength in numbers.
Exactly. And, whether or not it's a little contentious, they know that working together is better than working apart, which, that's all you can do it's like when you have a boss or a coworker, and you're not going to get along with everyone, but if you can find a way to be successful, then that's great. That's what you're doing.
You're being the bigger person.
So I think they do show that a little bit, but they show the other side quite
Oh, yeah. I wish they would show more of that, but I guess you wouldn't have much of a show.
Yeah, they showed it in the first episode with their interaction with Hedda, the dinner with Hedda, but yeah, and for me, those are the scenes that give me like that Cheshire grin, where it's like, you do it,
I know
girls.
what you're doing.
Right. I like it.
Yep.
When we come back from the commercial break, we've got more of that interview style questioning with Blondell. And she goes into the past about how in the 40s, when Joan was in her 40s, going into Joan's career, her time was...
As Betty is star-rised at Warner,
she wanted roles with substance.
Setting at MGM.
And basically she had to quit MGM.
Mm-hmm.
And she signs with Warner, Joan was the doll of MGM, and Betty was the doll of Warner in their prime time. And now Joan is bought up by Warner for a cheap price.
Under Betty's goat, to get her goat.
Right, and Warner says he did it to get, exactly, and he says, to kind of show her you're not the only bitch in the kennel.
But that makeup artist, when they flash back to them in the 40s when she first signs on with Warner.
Awesome Snapchat filter.
Holy shit. I literally put, that makeup artist, though. Because, that was incredible. That was really good.
I've told you before that Kristin is amazing at makeup.
I ain't that good.
Loves, she's amazing at makeup. And I am not. And I have told you before, I need you to take me somewhere. I was doing my makeup today in the car before a work meeting. Man, first of all, car mirrors. So cruel. And it looked terrible.
I don't, like I told you, I don't have many talents, and the ones that I can say that I do are not something to be proud of.
Makeup
So I will say it on the air. I don't use mirrors in the car when I put my makeup on. That's the one thing I perfected, is I know where my face is, so I can literally put on a full face of makeup without a mirror. And celebrity gossip, but dude,
those are
your vocabulary versus mine when we talk in this thing.
Who the fuck cares about vocabulary when you're under the sheets?
Contentious versus get your goat.
I think I said get your goat.
I definitely did not say contentious. Let me get my thesauruses out.
We go into the history, which, is this true? Because I don't necessarily remember reading or hearing this, that Joan basically took Betty's scraps.
Yes, that is true.
Okay.
I knew that about Mildred Pierce.
So exactly right. So she ended up getting the role of Mildred Pierce because Betty poo-pooed it, and that's what won Joan the Oscar, and Betty was pissed about it.
Okay, so before you go, you saw the scene where she's like in
before
bed.
Before you go, wait, we're still podcasting.
Before you leave. But you saw her accepting the award in bed.
Yeah.
She was the first actress to ever do that. She was too ill to accept her award.
I'm rolling my eyes.
So they made sure that they came to her home,
Why would
brought her the Oscar.
She do that? I'm shocked.
Because there is a difference in getting attention for 5 seconds on stage at the Oscars than being put in the newspaper the next day as being given the first home award for Academy Awards. She calculated that plan. Another thing, not like I'm, a freaking film critic historian. Another thing from the great Karina Longworth on You Must Remember This, the whole Joan Crawford thing.
Yeah.
She talks about during the Mildred Pierce phase when she won the Oscar, and how she literally feigned sickness just to have them come to her house so she would be photographed and put all over the news.
That is some narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh, you want Okay, so we'll probably get to it in episodes to come, but I'm sorry, I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything with any of the show because it's all based on what happened in the past. And
you good girl.
You can easily Google it, but do you know that Bette Davis was nominated for the role of Jane Hudson?
Yeah, she was nominated for an Oscar.
Blanche
Joan
was not.
Mm-hmm.
So she reached out to all the best actress lead people.
Joan
did. Joan
went to everyone else that was nominated.
And said, I will accept the award for you. And Anne Bancroft could not be there for The Miracle Worker and took her acceptance. And she actually ended up winning. So Betty sat while Joan still got up on the stage and accepted the Oscar award. For Anne. Ultimate petty thing ever.
Oh my God. And Joan was just like a pig in shit.
Yes. When I heard that, I was thinking to myself, oh my God,
She literally went to every other actress nominated in the rare, the smallest hope that they wouldn't be able to show up and that they would win, and said, I'll accept your Oscar for you, darling, if you can't make it. And all of them, as you would said, okay, yeah, if I'm not there. And Anne couldn't be there. And
she won.
And Anne won. And Betty just assumed that she would definitely win. And it was just such a... And honestly, Joan hoped to get nominated. She didn't get nominated. Betty got nominated. And then she got to have her...
She found her fucking way, man. Up on that stage.
If you can, Google those pictures from that Oscar night. And the look on Joan's face as she... holds and caresses that Oscar like it's a newborn baby, and just a smile on her face. She's so goddamn happy that night, and it's hard not to smile at it for her a little bit.
And I can't wait to see this coming in the episodes, because it has to, right? Because it's still it's still about Baby Jane.
You think that they'll cover that?
I have to, because it's still about Baby Jane, and we still have to get to whatever happened to Cousin Charlotte.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm really hoping that we see that, because that is just, to me, the epitome of petty.
My God. Can you imagine doing that? And this isn't a 25-year-old girl. This is a 60-something-year-old woman.
No, and she's like, I will get up on that stage before Betty if my life fucking depends on it.
That's what I can't... That's what makes me think she must have had a personality disorder or something, because let's say you are an actress, and you've been an actress, and you've always wanted... The Oscar is the epitome of success, and
she just wanted to be accepted on the stage.
But that's what you picture, don't you? When in your mind, if I'm an amazing actress, you picture looking on to everyone giving this speech in this big moment. she would forego all of that just to be the
Piss
first
off Betty?
That's just crazy.
Oh wait, to be the first one in bed.
Yeah, the first one in bed to accept. Like it makes it seem like the Oscar didn't really mean.
No, it's the attention.
Ugh, God, it's insane.
And that's why she hated Marilyn Monroe so much, because the amount of attention allotted to Marilyn during that time.
I do like that we do see a petty side, a petty Betty.
Petty Betty. That's what we are these days.
Petty Betties.
We're the Petty Betties, covering all your good stuff that has to do with pettiness.
To Warner, she says, "I know what you're doing," giving my roles to her, and the tables sort of turn because Joan had to sort of come crawling to Warner, and because she got canned from MGM, and now Betty, we see her with her box of belongings. Leaving Warner. Betty in present, she talks about how she doesn't like the baby Jane breakfast scene, and Joan, of course, agrees with her.
I love this again. Mm-hmm. You're right. These are the scenes that make me go, oh yeah.
Yeah. They walk off laughing arm in arm, and they know what they're doing.
Sisters doing it for themselves. All right, what's that song?
I don't know what that is.
It's something like that. I hope so. If not, I just made up a Grammy-winning song.
Sisters doing it for themselves.
There is a song like that.
Is there?
Will find it.
You would know. I wouldn't.
I'm going to find it at the break, and I'm going to play it when we reopen.
Girls rule the world. Wait, who rules the world? Girls. Photo op. Mm-hmm. Joan and Betty, again, getting along.
They're getting along like a house on fire.
And we see,
that was like one of my favorite quotes. I'm going to start saying that.
We see Jack Warner and Aldrich, Bob drinking together.
This whole Scotch line, just, it's so cliche, but still makes me sick every time I hear something like it.
And Jack, who is probably a narcissist himself, tries to like scare Bob and then tells him, "We're opening in 400.
Oh, you mean the
screens."
Caesar Flickerman smile he gives him from Hunger Games? Like,
oh, you remember the name?
Yes.
Did you look it up?
Yes, I had to because I could not remember it. But that's the smile he gets. I got you, Bob, didn't I? I got you.
It says Joan and Betty are burning up the scenes together, but we need more buzz. We've got 400 screens, and he wants Bob to have them at each other's throats. Mm-hmm. And, Bob's kind of scummy, but he doesn't want to do this. So the next scene is Bob complaining to his wife, Harriet, at his house about how he's being told he has to pit them against each other. Harriet, yeah.
Harriet. It just makes me want to do the songs from I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yes! Harriet.
Sorry.
And, he's all about what's going on in his life, and quiet Harriet finds a way to confront him about his dalliance with his strudel Gretchen. Yeah, I love that she says strudel.
I know.
I'm going to start calling you my strudel.
I'm a strudel.
You are my little
strudel.
strudel.
Because she's German Gretchen. I got it.
And she...
Oh, I got it.
She finds a really eloquent way of saying, be careful about stirring up gossip because it gets back. And he kind of denies it. Whereas I would not be nearly as suave as Miss Harriet. I'd be like, you fucker fucking fuckington. You were having sex with someone younger. Fuck you, you cock-sucking cunt fucking ass fuck.
Well, you probably would have gotten your point across a lot better than she did.
She just turns on her side with a tear coming down, and I'd be like grabbing shit from the dresser to throw at him.
He would not have a side table because it would be through the window.
Okay.
That's when they say they're not getting along and they're just teaming up. I liked how they compared it to the Hitler-Stalin pact.
And Hedda and Bob meet, and Bob is like a prostitute. He's just gotta do this.
Sex worker.
You're right, actually.
Because that's a whole new thing that we have to be...
No, and I actually agree with that.
Politically correct.
So, sex worker. Bob's like a sex worker.
If I didn't agree with it, I wouldn't correct it. But,
She just made a jacking off mission.
Like a sex worker.
Sex workers...
If I was a chef, I would have pretended I was flipping a pan.
It's fucking awful. There's so much sex worker. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Sex worker.
Let's see, what he's telling Hedda that Joan and Betty are getting along, and he's like, he
Fine.
doesn't want to do what he's going to do, and Hedda pokes the bear.
Yeah.
And he caves, and he basically is like, okay, Joan's tits too perky. She wears falsies. And Betty said she's afraid she'll chip a tooth on them in the beach scene. They're hard as rocks.
I mean, it seems like not too long ago, but if it's still in a world where it's a scoop that somebody wears falsies.
So I don't understand. Is he talking about she pads her bra or that she has fake tits? Because they're hard as rocks.
I think it's just pads the bra.
Okay.
That's what I thought too, but then I think it was just about padding the bra and it made it sound like she got a tit job. I don't know.
I was going to say, because my fake tits feel soft.
Yeah, but you have a different doctor than most.
Butter.
Yeah, you have a different doctor than most.
Just kidding. They're real. All right. Are we ready?
Who says that your real breasts are in great shape?
We ready for Feud Tube Betties? You want to cut to the shit?
Let's cut to the shit.
Before I dig my own grave. Okay. Here's Feud Tube Betties.
Feud Tube Betties.
Try me, bitch.
Hey little buddies, Foxman back for another installment of Feud Tube Buddies. This week's Hollywood feud, Elton John vs. Madonna. Elton originally bashed Madonna's theme song for the 007 movie Die Another Day in 2002, calling it the worst Bond tune ever. Mr. Tiny Dancer famously slammed Madge again at the 2004 Q Awards in London. Here's what Elton had to say about Madonna as the best live act.
Madonna, best fucking live act. Fuck off.
And then things were relatively quiet until 2012, the year of the flame. Elty relaunched his Madonna bashing campaign in January, saying this to Carson Daly about Madonna's chance of winning an award over Mary J. Blige.
And, I probably think Mary J. might win it for the help. Madonna hasn't got...
Those are fighting words.
No, they're accurate words.
By the way, what he said was, Madonna hasn't got a fucking chance. Ooh. Apparently it's not just Saturday night for fighting, am I right? Tee. Several months later, Elton honky-tonked the shit out of Madonna with this gem.
She's such a nightmare. Sorry, her career's over. I can tell you that. Her tour's been a disaster. If Madonna had had any common sense, she would have made a record like Ray of Light, stayed away from the dance stuff, and just been a great pop singer and make great pop records, which she does brilliantly. But no, she had to prove that she was and she looks like a f***ing fairground stripper.
Now, if you think this feud is one-sided, you're totally mistaken. Madonna has been a hashtag nasty woman herself, saying this in response.
Whew. I hope he speaks to me for the next couple of years. He's known to get mad at me.
Okay.
So, I don't know. He's brilliant, and I adore him. So, he'll win another award.
Jesus, Madonna, grow up. All right, little buddies, that's my shtick, and that's it for Feud Tube Buddies. See you guys next week.
So there's that.
We both staring at each other like,
What now?
all right, good night. Okay.
Okay.
It's a quick orgasm there. Okay.
I love Joan interrupting this take.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Joan pulls up to the studio. She's fucking pissed. Storms in during Betty's take, and she reads the excerpt from Hedda's article, and she's upset, and she wants Bob to handle it. But Betty laughing in the background, like, who gives a shit? Everyone knows.
I love that. She's like, who cares?
I mean, come on. I would hope at 60-something, I don't care that people are talking about my falsies, you know?
Yeah, but you know
Joan
what?
is
Betty goes from
emotionally
not caring to caring as soon as she sees Bob comforting Joan.
Did you get that vibe? I didn't get that vibe. So Joan threatens
Didn't
her
they zoom in on her face kind of angry for like 5 seconds?
I didn't think she looked angry. I thought she looked contemplative.
No, you're right.
And Joan
Maybe.
is so adolescent, and maybe this goes back to her being abandoned by her father, blah, blah, blah. When that kind of shit happens, or when you're abused, you stop developing emotionally at that age. So she is very immature when it comes to that sort of thing. So I'm assuming her dalliances with directors and all that at a young age have affected her emotionally because she acts like a goddamn child.
She does.
Whereas Betty doesn't necessarily do that. But and she's like, she's jealous of me. She always has been. Whether or not that's completely sincere, because we know how manipulative both of them are. Joan's being manipulative. She knows what she's doing. Cries on Bob. Bob caters to her. And Betty is watching on. And for me, I didn't necessarily think Betty looked angry because I always think Betty knows what Joan is up to. And I feel like she's just sort of...
Oh, so maybe she was just contemplating like, oh, so that's the game she's going to play. I can play that game too?
Maybe. Or maybe she's just like... Right, or keeping an eye on it, like, is Bob going to sleep with her? Right, exactly. You know, I don't think it was necessarily anger or jealousy.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think Betty is, I don't want to say smarter than Joan, but just a little bit more
I think she's more aware of
works.
her. I think she's in tuned.
Yeah,
More in tuned to the personality.
So she's... They both got...
We're getting into
they both
double
got, like,
podcasting time.
They
right
both
now.
have like hawk eyes. You know, they're seeing what each of them are doing, and they both
they don't miss a
interpret it
beat.
very differently.
They definitely do not miss a beat. Now I'm just hungry. I'm like, donut.
They do not miss a golden beet baked interview. We've got... Are you hungry? Do you want something to eat?
Fine. No, I'm good.
I'll go get
I'll go grab some of that goldfish to my left if I get hungry.
Yeah, the gallon of goldfish for the baby.
Yep. I got the colors on the other day, but that's not important.
Olivia de Havilland and Joan Blondell talking again about... Really, they talk about how it was cruel.
Women's lib movement and like...
Blah, blah,
but I love
blah.
how like Olivia de Havilland is like, and in this day and age, this wouldn't happen.
And what? It's like nothing's changed.
She's like, what did she say? Women will always do what they do when they're cornered. Eat their own and pick their teeth with the bones.
Which, breaks my heart. Because I don't feel that way about women. And I think that's an old-fashioned look at it. And maybe sort of in a vacuum how Hollywood is. But
oh, yeah.
I don't feel that way about women. I don't think that the interactions I've had with women have been like that.
I think people who want to be actors and in Hollywood like adoration and like are narcissist and need attention. So especially for women, as soon as they get older, something that they cannot control, they want to control everything and they can't control age. And so that's where all of a sudden the evil within can come out and they will eat their own and pick the...
Right. And they're in an industry where age is, you know...
Age is something but
not
a number.
Not a commodity.
Or as Jack Warner puts it, Scotch gets better with age and broad's just sour.
Man, and we talked about this in our Big Little Lies podcast, and I don't mean to repeat, but I just... I don't love the image that it puts about women and about women's relationships with other women, because it hasn't been what I've experienced, and I don't like the idea of...
But what we've experienced is kind of rare.
So Kristin and I are, as I said, we're best friends, but we have a group of 7 of us girls, and we've been best friends for, 10 years, 11 years now? And when I say best friends, I mean, like, we all know everyone's shit, and we talk about everything, and there's no competition. It's support, and the 7 of us are so
Everybody
different.
knows the best of the best and the worst of the worst.
And I am such a proponent of female friendships and building women up, and I think we all are, no matter what our beliefs are. So it makes me a little bit sad.
Women don't have to be competition.
Right. And I love this show, and it is fun. And we talk about, like, we like gossipy stuff. It is fun. But I don't love the perpetuation of the stereotype that women are terrible to one another.
Yeah, I love gossip, but watching Big Little Lies and Feud in a row made me feel exhausted.
It made me feel exhausted too, and it made me sad.
Sad, yeah, exactly.
And I wanted to be like, because men always say, like, oh, women are so catty. And women say, I don't like women friends. Women are catty. No. We're not. You gotta be open to it. You gotta find women are wonderful. Wonderful.
But I can say that I actually I am guilty of perpetuating the fad of eating into celebrity gossip, and
I am too.
which that's what they create relationships like Bette and Joan's. They feed off of what could potentially be money-making things because we will read it, we will watch it.
Right before we started recording, you and I are like, "Did you hear about?" Yeah, like it's tough. I just would like to say, like, in real life, we don't have to be that way.
Yeah. All the time.
Stepping off soapbox.
So Joan calls Luella.
I love that name, by the way, Luella. I think I just like the L sound.
Luella. Oh yeah, that's your next girl.
Luella.
Luella. Ms. Davis looks old enough to be my mother.
She looks like she hasn't had a happy day or night in her life. And you can quote me on that. I'm counting on it. I love how Jessica Lange says these lines.
I don't think that she's way off though. Not the old enough to be my mother part, but I guess from what I've seen in interviews and the show we're watching, and I mean, obviously, whatever Having a Baby Jane is the part that she's playing of a character, but I would love to see 10 minutes of Bette Davis looking really happy. Like, genuinely happy, not for somebody else's, like, downfall.
Maybe, but I don't think Joan Crawford seems like
well,
she's
nobody ever
happy.
Hey, I pictured Joan Crawford, though, as kind of a miserable, insecure woman.
Right.
I kind of feel like Bette Davis is a firecracker.
I bet Bette Davis, we can see
I bet she laughs all the time.
Well, we saw that. We saw her have that big laugh with her ex, so I don't think that that's true.
No, I don't either. That's what I'm saying. I would love to see something real. Like, there is a Dean Martin roast of Bette Davis that I really want to watch. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that'd be fun.
And I really want to watch that because I love watching those old roasts, because you know what's so great about those roasts? They get wasted, and there's zero political correctness. Zero. Do you know how racist they are in those roasts?
Oh gosh, I can only imagine.
Oh my god, they're on YouTube. Anybody, you want to feel like you're in the good old days? Go ahead. I know. I'm just saying, good old days in the where there is zero censorship. Like, Hays Code barely touched fucking Dean Martin's roast. It is insane. It's the best thing ever. And every single time, 30 minutes in, Dean Martin is so wasted, practically falling off the dais. It's amazing. I'm just saying, it's amazing in the way of everybody's like this when the cameras are turned off.
No matter what decade, no matter who you are.
I'm sorry. You're going to find the most,
I agree,
pure people, and they're going to be caught doing some shit they shouldn't be doing because everybody does some shit when the camera's off. And I just love that all this is being done with the cameras on. Mm-hmm. It's the greatest thing ever.
I like the dichotomy of Bette pulling up to the studio versus how Joan handled it and how Bette handles it. So we saw
giving out the presents, right, and getting fed the names.
And this is a theme. So in the first episode, on the first day of filming, we saw how Joan was giving herself the peroxide thing and whatever that was, and then
the witch
Bette
hazel.
Thank you, witch hazel. And then
she dipped her face in peroxide.
And Bette just waking up and having a cigarette.
That's Michael Jackson.
Oh god! All right, Dean Martin.
That was my Dean Martin. Hey.
And then I love this because we saw how personally Joan took it, and then Bette pulls up, and somebody asks her for. What did they say? Asks her what her opinion is or something on what Jonah said, and she's like, "What's your name, sweetheart?" Sylvia. Fuck off, Sylvia. Just a totally. Although she's still upset, she tells her daughter, "Go to my room and read a goddamn book," which is another nod to their maybe not so hot relationship.
God, Joan and Bette have so many similarities.
They do. They're different beasts, but they're in the same forest.
Yep. I like it. No, it works.
But Bette levels with Joan. She doesn't play the games that Joan does, and she says, "I'm about the part and the work. You keep this shit up, and I will pull the picture right out from underneath you." Mm-hmm. Meaning she will.
And she said she kind of already has.
Right.
And this is the part I was talking about that you were talking about earlier, where Betty knows what Joan's doing when she's doing it.
And Joan is such a goddamn easy mark.
And Joan is such an easy mark where Betty's like, I know exactly what the fuck is going to get under her skin. Yeah. And that is her insecurities as an actress.
Yeah. And like, Joan can't see past what is.
No, because she's always such a pillar of like,
so wrapped up in herself.
Shoulders up, nose up. I'm like carrying herself. But the moment Betty says to her something about her performance, her shoulders curl in, her head goes down. And she's like, well, Bob said my performance was amazing.
Insecure daddy issues.
Oof.
Warner with Bob. They're at lunch or dinner or something.
Moss.
He wants more hate. Mm-hmm. Make each woman think that you like the other better. Makes them greater actresses. So this was the point in the episode where I could feel my eyes like, ugh, because I hate this generalized look at women's supposed regular behavior towards each other. Mm-hmm. And I won't go on and on about it, but people already stereotype women like this as conniving and cutthroat. So it's not a good look, and it's not something I identify with. Mm-hmm. So I love this episode, but I also don't love it. But this is, I guess, you know what I mean? It's tough.
Well, I think it's a really sad look that does exist. That in order to make money, let's
but we already
pit
know
some women against each other.
We already know it exists. So do we have to like continue to highlight it and
that's where it came from,
right? And then there's that. Like this is a looking at that. This is supposed to sort of. And I think Ryan Murphy is definitely a feminist, and I think he's wanting us to see that. Like, do you see how awful this is? That
like instead of, it's not just two bitchy women going at each other's throats. There was something behind this that they didn't really have anything to do with.
It was kill or be killed, or what is that saying?
Like if they were in the 90s, I just picture Bob on the phone with Joan and Betty, or on the phone with Joan, and then says like, "Well, Betty said this about you," and she's like, what? And then all of a sudden, like, she's silent on the three-way call.
Right. No. Anyway, Betty meets with Bob, and I actually really like this scene, because she's very vulnerable. She says that she's feeling out of control, and she asks him, am I being brave, or am I letting Joan get to me? Because she has that self-awareness.
She will feel silly.
Don't let me look ridiculous. She suggests trying to meet with Joan to fix it, and Bob advises her against it. And I think had he not had that meeting with Warner,
he would have agreed to it.
Right, because he would have wanted peace on the set, but Warner has told him that's not what he wants.
Yeah.
But then they go over the singing scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And for me, in the actual movie,
she was more high pitched.
Well, for me in the movie, that scene was one of the most chilling and moving scenes. It made my eyes water. I thought it was incredible acting, which I don't
really sad.
I don't really think when I watch old movies. Normally, I think like, oh, this acting is so over the top. I thought this was beautiful acting in this movie, and I was sitting in bed like, this movie is amazing. I need to watch more older movies.
Yeah,
because her performance was Oscar worthy.
I really want to watch All About Eve.
I haven't seen that.
I want to see that too, Bette Davis.
But the scene in the movie, whatever happened to Baby Jane, this was one of my favorite scenes. And and when they sort of act out the choreography, seeing Betty's vulnerability and her and Bob connect, it was a sweet,
definitely an intimate moment.
Definitely intimate moment, not sexual, intimate, where Betty sort of let her insecurities show. I was so afraid Joan would walk in. But that's okay, because Joan walks in the next day, seeing them
and Mamacita makes everything all better.
God damn you, Mamacita. She says the crew's all abuzz because
And then poor Joan, about my performance? No, honey.
About them practicing scenes over the weekend.
Exactly.
And then we got Harriet in bed, poor Mrs. Aldrich. Joan calls for Bob at midnight. She's crying, Peter left me, I have to quit the movie. So Bob has to rush over to talk her down.
As soon as she gets off the phone, tears are dry. She's fine.
Right, smiling seductively, putting perfume on. So evil.
I love when Bob comes in and she goes, who is it? Who's there?
Who do you think it is?
Who the fuck do you think it is? It's the guy who called to come over in the middle of the night.
God. And that whole scene is just so awkward where she's trying to seduce him and he rip-offs her, you know, and she confronts him about, it's so, and you feel bad for Bob, but then you feel terrible for Peter, who walks in and
He's
sees,
like, what the fuck's going on?
and she breaks up with him in a really terrible way.
Oh, that was my favorite thing ever. Like,
So
telling him she
cold.
needed to be recast. Well, like, I love the look on his face. Like, girl, you got mad. Because, like, her being like, you need to be recast. Your lines are stale. Like, this isn't a movie.
Right. And she just has no grasp on
Reality. At all.
Oh my God.
Becky, who is that?
Do you want to do, oh my God, you know who that is, right?
Sure.
All right.
No, I want to sing I Like Big Butts.
All right. Well, we're going to do, oh my God, you know who that is.
Oh
Great.
my God, you know who that is, right?
Aw, shit.
Nah, bitch. Who?
Oh my God.
Nice.
You know who that is, right? Sweet.
All right.
Awesome segue.
That was really good.
Do you want to go?
Sure. Judy Davis. She plays Hedda Hopper. But you will have also seen her on Marie Antoinette, the movie, as Comtesse de Noailles.
Excuse me?
She was in Marie Antoinette. She was also, if you've ever seen The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston, she plays the weird art lady that owns that studio, Marilyn Dean.
Oh, her, right.
Yeah. And then I was like, I know this lady. She's been in so many things. I only recognize her for one thing, and nobody's probably ever seen this. There was a mini series on, I think it was Lifetime or USA, called The Starter Wife with Deborah Messing. Mm-hmm. And she plays her best friend. Like the old broad that like helps her get on her feet again.
Ugh, can you imagine like...
And that's who that is. And I'm like, that's how I know her?
I have a similar story with mine, but can you imagine, Kristin, if you're an actress and they're like, this is the role you are now at 31. You can play the best friend to the hot woman looking for a husband.
Exactly. Your name is also Old Maid.
Can you make yourself dumpy?
Yeah.
Dumpier?
We need more light on the lines. So that's her.
I recognize her too, right away.
But that's it.
That's it?
I thought there was going to be so much more. That's why I was like, I'll do Hedda Hopper.
Are you sure?
I swear.
Okay. All right. Well, my person, I have a similar story. So I wanted to cover the actress that plays Bob Aldrich's wife, Harriet. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, I know her. She's been in a ton of stuff that I've seen. I definitely recognize her. Her name is Molly Price. And she is most notably known for her role on a show called Third Watch, an NBC crime drama that I don't remember at all. That was
Lauren's old roommate was on an episode of that.
Oh, cool.
She actually met her husband now as playing like a significant other to him in like a 2-part episode.
Oh, that's funny. Lauren is is Kristin's very, very, very best friend.
And our best friend. But it was her roommate at Ithaca College.
Small world. Yep. I guess she had like a primary role on that show from 1990 to 2005.
Okay.
Now, I remember her from her stints on Law & Order as a guest star, starting in 91.
She played sex worker number 3 about 4 times.
No, I think she played like, who fucking cares? But what I really know her from is her 2 episodes she did on Sex and the City.
Okay, can I guess it before you do it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, she's like the annoying, fuck.
You're on the right track.
That's not Lainey, right? No, it's
not Lainey, but that's
closer. She's the one that gets screamed at all the time.
She is the one that makes Carrie take her shoes
off. Yes. Oh my god.
That's her.
A girl's right to shoes.
Yes.
Yes.
That's her. I've seen every episode of Sex and the City.
Why can I name the episode?
Goddamn many times. So when I read that, I'm like, that's why I know her right off the bat.
She looks different.
I saw an old headshot of her when she was young. Fucking gorgeous.
She looks a lot different.
She
looks more like Tatum O'Neal when she's in Sex and the City.
She's been on a ton of stuff. The stuff that I've watched that she's been on: Shameless, Nip Tuck, Private Practice, The Mentalist.
That's gonna be my watch of March, by the way, because I still haven't seen it.
The Mentalist.
Shameless.
Oh, Shameless. Yep. That's good. I like that girl's tits. Many other guest spots. Yeah, I like her. Like her tits.
Good tits.
She's got great New York boobs.
What is that from?
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, that was. Oh my God. You know who that is, right?
Oh my God, you know who that is, right?
Aw, shit.
Nah, bitch, who?
Hedda.
Hopper.
Oh God. Oh. Bleh. Kristin.
Nice try.
Don't be disgusting.
Nice try, but I was clearing my gross throat.
Women against women. I will blame you for my burps. That was disgusting. I'm really sorry. We'll cut that out.
No, we won't.
It's gonna get cut out.
You're like,
it's gonna be like bird chirping.
Just me in the background going, that's disgusting. And it's like a computer voice, like at the tweet.
That's disgusting. Tweet, tweet. Oh, right. Why would your voice? All right. Anyway.
So Joan interrupts Betty's, or nope.
Who's Jen?
Nope.
Hedda. She's mad at Joan about talking with Luella. She storms into her massage and she basically threatens Joan with releasing like tawdry sex details of her past. Mm-hmm. And like good friends do threaten one another. Joan basically says that she had to do that with Luella to get Hedda's attention.
Hedda says that she promoted her.
Yeah, Hedda's like, I did so much for you.
Have you ever heard about this big box office poison thing that was released? I was going to talk about it for a second because it's very interesting.
Talk about it.
1938, Harry Brandt came out with an article pretty much labeling certain people as box office poison, that they're getting paid too much and they're not very great. Those people include Katharine Hepburn, Joan Crawford, Norma Shearer, Greta Garbo, just to name a few. And this like really fucked up their careers.
That's awful.
And then actually, to add to that, Bette Davis was listed as one of the people that were worth what they're paid.
Oh, wow.
As well as Spencer Tracy, Cary Grant, Clark Gable. There's more than that.
Right.
But this really affected each of those people's careers. So that's a huge thing that Hedda did by promoting her after the whole box office poison thing. That wasn't a little thing. So that's why she turned around. She's like, I know, and I just wanted to get your attention.
Mm-hmm. Joan's quick on her feet. She's definitely good at improvising. Mm-hmm. And she kind of appeals to her as a friend.
Oh, to me, I'm like, she's got her under her spell.
Well, I mean,
I really feel like she really...
Oh, yeah. By you know, she
played it.
Sometimes she seems very unaware, but then in these sorts of scenes, she knows what she's doing. She's not dumb. Mm-mm. She's not dumb. She's conniving. And she says, not on the record, and she takes a calculated bet here, I feel like. Because this is a risky move. Where she tells Hedda that she's broke, that she owes $2 million, gives some sob story about it all, and she's got Hedda under her what? Tongue? Spell.
That's what I had.
Under her tongue. And she needs Hedda's help. And immediately Hedda, who probably has personality disorder too, is like, I'm going to help you. You know what saves you in this town is an Oscar. You get 5 more years.
5 more years.
So she's going to generate Oscar buzz, is what I took from that.
Yeah, she's gonna, even though that Betty has the more showier role, the more dramatic role, it's a matter of opinion, and the only opinion that matters in this town is hers. Mm-hmm. I do love that Joan was like, see, you never had to go through that because you were lucky you never made it big.
Ugh, yeah. See,
like, what a silver-tongued devil. Jesus Christ.
I feel like she's almost showing her hand there because Hedda, like, gives
she's
her
like,
some...
What the fuck?
Yeah, get back on track here, Joan.
Exactly. But yeah, she pretty much tells her that she's the only opinion that matters. And I do love that she, like, 1 minute, she's like, how dare you? And the next minute, she's like, Betty was never one of us.
Again, not a good look for women in general.
No.
Betty meets her, and I'm putting this in quotes, homosexual love interest at the donut cart. Love Victor.
Victor Bueno.
He's so funny. She's not impressed. And I think she's feeling sorry for herself and immediately turns and sees her daughter getting sexual attention from all the crew guys.
Yep.
And in the next scene, she's telling her daughter, Beatty, to pack her things. She's going away. And Beatty gives a scathing speech.
I feel like she's the same character as she was in Mad Men.
Yeah, she
Fucking
is.
hoity-toity old school bitch.
I mean, she basically says, nobody wants you anymore. Look at you. The rest of the actresses that were your age ended their career.
They stepped aside with dignity.
Yeah, you have no dignity. It's
class.
It's so nasty.
Oh, the part where she's like, nobody wants you. Nobody's watching you.
Right.
It was just really hurtful to the point where it brought, like, I got choked up because I'm like, if my daughter ever said that, I mean, if she already said that, I don't like the song Itty Bitty Teeny
Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini.
Because I can't wear one anymore, I'd already be crying. So then after that, I'd be like, get out.
I agree, but then I have to think, like, it would be really hard to have that kind of mom, you know? And
I'm not saying she's not right in certain ways, but to hear that.
To hear it in our circumstances where we're like regular working women who aren't, you know, like vying for the spotlight. If our daughters said that.
You don't know how to step aside, Mom.
I wanted to cry at Walgreens when Lila told the checkout clerk, we don't look like sisters. Look how much older she is than me. I wanted to be like, fuck you.
That would have been tops.
Can you imagine if I said that to my 7-year-old daughter? Fuck you.
She talks like my sister, though.
But it's sad, and we don't see a lot of weakness from Betty, and we don't see weakness really until after this commercial break.
No.
Where, again, another good
Bob
peek
to the
at
rescue.
Joan versus Betty, same circumstance.
Yeah.
Calls in the middle of the night. Poor goddamn Harriet has to pass the phone to Bob, and Bob's got to go in the middle of the night to rescue Betty now. But Betty is sincere and says she just needs a friend. And it doesn't seem like a ploy. It's actually, Betty doesn't have many friends.
No.
And
they kind of end up fluffing each other's ego, which in turn, like...
Right, they laugh together and they share a kiss, and it's implied that they fuck.
Yep.
And he leaves.
Poor Harriet.
No, so he leaves early in the morning, gets back into bed with Harriet, and you're just seeing it from you see Harriet's face, and she's crying. And then, was that the alarm that went off, the morning alarm?
Yeah, I know we're trying to make an effect with him, like, getting home at the time of the alarm. But if you got home and you know what time your alarm goes off, I doubt you're going to, like, slip your shoes off and go into bed, knowing you have, like, 1 minute left till it goes.
I'm going to rumple the sheets and make them warm for a second.
Like, hold on, I'm just going to get a minute in.
Although sometimes when I'm really tired, I do that. Like, one more minute.
Well, I'd miss an entire work day if I had no sleep and tried to lay down for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I'd wake up at 5 p.m. and be like, whoops.
Oh, well.
Oh, this is awkward.
And
that's how I lost my job at Chili's.
That's how the episode ends. What did you think?
I thought this was a really good episode.
I did too.
I liked it a lot.
Did this really happen?
You know what's so funny is
you
and I went to end the thing and be like, I'd like to see more strength in the next episode. You know what I mean? Like, not really showing women the way they're showing them so much.
No, we're gonna get more of the same shit.
But we're watching a show called Feud,
yeah,
so
I mean, it would be really lame if all the rest of the episodes they're like, you know what? Let's work this out.
Exactly.
We'd be like, what the fuck?
Women have to stick together. We rewrote history.
Yeah. They make the feud about them against Bob and Jack Warner or something.
Exactly.
Not as entertaining. And I can accept that, and I understand it.
Yep.
And I would just like to say This is a show. It's not real life.
It's true. I thought it just started pouring. I'm sorry. I got
It just
really
started
scared.
pouring?
I got really scared that it just started pouring and I'm about to have to leave. So that's why I got quiet for a second.
God's like, no, women are terrible. I just started watching Planet Earth too.
Yeah, me too.
It's really good.
It is.
And the locusts. They show the scene of the locusts.
And Jason goes, Jesus Christ, I realize why they're so scary in the Bible.
Yeah,
That's literally his reaction.
so you try and leave because we talked, we don't like how women are, no, women are terrible. Locusts. Toads.
Exactly. Just
All
nothing
right,
but Venus flytraps out there.
They're awful and we'll hate one another.
Yay.
All right, well, is that...
Yeah, that's about it.
Hey. Well, again, send us any of your thoughts, comments, blah, blah, blah. boobtubebetties@gmail.com. We love you all so much. We love you. We love you so much.
See you in a feud, little buddies.